Now we're going to talk about the best way to teach beginners how to be safe around horses. So as an experienced horse person, I'm sure you understand that a lot of accidents can be prevented, and a lot of them can be traced back to the telltale signs showing that a horse is being stressed. They could be simple things like the horse raises his head and pricks his ears, or he could lower his head and his ears could go back, or he could stiffen through the back and shorten his steps. If a student learns about their horse's body language from their first lesson, they can start to look for these subtle signals as well. So before your beginner starts the first part of the riding, or starts the riding part of the lesson, introduce them to the basics of interactions with horses. Teach them how to approach their horse and why, and also show how this is relevant to the natural instincts of the horses and how their handling techniques build trust from the horse. Encourage them to look at the horse's body language and other horses in the vicinity and discuss different reactions and what they mean. If you see two horses together, look at the individual body language and then the differences, and discuss the more dominant horse and the more submissive, and look at their reactions to each other. Reinforce safety procedures like catching the most dominant horse within the herd and why this is important for the handler's safety. You could discuss what could happen if a submissive horse was caught first. Just do a scenario. Have a scenario like the submissive horse is caught, and then the dominant horse comes over to the submissive horse. Well, the submissive horse is going to try and get away, but they could run over the person who's caught them if that person was in the way. And then reinforce, this is so important that we catch the most dominant horse first. And also talk to them about when a horse is tied up. Discuss why there shouldn't be a loose horse tied around a horse that's tied up, particularly if that loose horse is the more dominant horse, and these sorts of interactions between the horses and what could happen. And then show the safe way to handle and lead the horse, and give some what-if scenarios to show the correct way to position themselves and lead the horse. You can also talk to your beginner students about just staying aware of the horse's body language and how, if they think ahead, they can prevent the accidents to themselves and also look after other people and the horses around them. As your beginner rider starts to understand the more obvious horse behaviours, discuss the more subtle signs. You can talk about what the head raised or lowering means, and whether it's good or bad. Talk about the eyes, if the eyes are opening wide, and what's a faster blink time and what the slower blink time is, and show them the difference and what it means. And you can also talk to them about the different types of sweat that a horse has. You can talk to them about what it means when the horse swishes their tail, and also to a horse pawing and tightening his muscles and what that could mean, and even the different types of snorts. I'm sure they'll probably hear a snort while they're there, but what the different types of snorts mean. So instructors should teach herd behaviour, dominance and submissiveness from the safe first lesson because it's safe. But just as you start with your riders, you start with riding yourself, you would have learned the basic, and then as an instructor you would have learned the basic. And just remember, these are beginner students. They're just learning to ride, so start with the basics about the body language of horses. And just as another safety thing, while you are teaching, be aware and take appropriate action if you notice any unusual behaviour or signals with the horses. And then that way you're keeping people safe around you and you're preventing accidents. Now, if you or someone you know is interested in teaching people to ride or any career in the horse industry, make sure you download the 101 Careers in the Horse Industry at International Horse College. There's a full colour edition of well over 100 horse industry careers, and this can be downloaded totally free to you. Just go to internationalhorsecollege.com, and at the bottom of the page there'll be a link to download the book, or if you're having a look on the blog or the latest news, have a look on the right hand side and you'll be able to find the book and download it from there as well. Enjoy the book.